to get all that other stuff. If that stuff doesn't matter, I get it. You just want to wait it out. I don't want to give them strategies. Good morning. Happy Sunday, Monday. Oh, yes. Business talk, words with physical fitness. I'm going to bring it all together, folks. But to get started today, we're going to come to the front part of our mats, please. And thank you. Notice the manners. All good stuff, right? Let's bring our heels onto the corners of our mats. Take our toes and angle them outwards. And make sure your knees track with those toes of yours. And to bring hands over heart. Let me say, we're going to have a good class today. Correct? Yay! The Sunday fun day begins. I'd like you to start to begin these little sumo-like squats and slowly lower down and slowly raise up your body. As we proceed through more repetitions, I'd like you to explore some of the range of motion on the down part. You can't go any higher than tall you are. But as we do this, make sure we just progress slowly through. After all, we are learning. A little bit of orientation of weight bearing in the feet. There joins us. And good morning. Making sure that the ball of the big toe is the connection point in the front of the foot. And when you drive up, try to push the force through the heel, taking that orientation of effort back to the posterior muscle chain. Try to get a little deeper with each repetition. Make sure as you descend down that you're not tucking under at the hips or rounding in at the shoulders. Keep you nice and proud through that chest. Let's do another couple more repetitions. Oh, feeling a little burning. Always, we rise up this time, step those toes straight forward, keep hands over heart. And as we bring straightness to the legs and pronouncement of the ball of each big toe into the floor, draw your hips backwards. You're going to keep the spine long, neutral, chest proud, and then raise that body back up. And as we do these good mornings, I'd like you to explore some range in this, also on the downward motion. Try to avoid the bend through the knees as you lower down. It's really to lengthen out a couple big muscles in the back, your glutes and your hammies. On the next repetition, we're going to add a little bit of a progression as we stand up. We're going to release the hands, ball them into fists. Turn the thumbs to face outward and then draw those elbows backwards and continue the same motion. Squeeze the elbows together as you lower and keep them squeezing as you raise back up. A couple more times. When you rise back up this time, release the grips of those hands and shoot them up to the sky to salute the sun. Feel the lunge there. As you exhale that, fold it down, bring your hands to the floor, and step those feet back. As we come into plank pose, I'd like you to step your hands slightly forward of the shoulders. Take your elbows and rotate them in towards the center line of the body, but do not lock them out. Pull your hips up and back to down dog. Float it back to high plank. And do that a few more times. And down dog now. Drive the heels towards the earth. Keep the heels driving earthward as you float back to plank. Do that nice pull to the calf region. Pull it back up to down dog. Push up into the tippy toes, and as you float forward, arch the back, get some flexion. It's like pelvic tucking. You're kind of tucking the pubis in and under towards, pulling up towards the belly button, and flexing through the spine. Now, straighten out the spine, draw the hips back, drive the heels to the earth, keep the heels driving into the earth as you float back to plank. Drift it backward to down dog. Tippy toes, arch through the back, float it forward. Draw it back, heels drive to the earth. As the back straightens out, keep the heels driving, float back to plank. And one more time, down,
tippy toes up, flex and float. And then neutralize the spine, drop down onto the knees, onto all fours into our rounded bear. Making sure that your hands are about shoulder width or slightly wider apart if you want more stability. And what we're going to do is basically lower the torso down in between the arms and then raise it up. So as we scapulate or move our shoulder blades forward and back by simply raising and lowering the torso, our arms are the anchors, of course, just to get a little bit of blood flow into the small muscles of those shoulder blades. Enjoy it for a couple more reps. And then nestle it, keep that chest down, hollow out the belly, and raise that upper back, arching it towards the sun. Again, this is like pelvic tucking, so the pubis is pulling up and in towards the belly button, and there's a lot of flexion in that upper back. Exhale, push the chest to the earth, take the back of the head as it pulls skyward, rotate that tailbone to the sky also. Hollow out the belly, feel that muscle pull, right from the pelvic girdle up and into the rib cage, straight across the belly. Do you have that feeling? Enjoy it. Now, keep that contraction, come back into our cat-like position. And then reverse the cow. Keep that pull through that tummy as you repetition this out.
Repetition.
Yeah,
Is that a new word?
I just made, no, repetition is a word.
Wrap it up.
Rep it out. I used the long form.
No.
Okay, too complicated for Kirsten. Now, neutral spine, float the bear, and rock forward and back. And hold that, drop back down onto the knees. Float the bear, rock side to side. Still that, and come back down into the knees. Float the bear, circle it to the right. And return it to the earth. Float it one more time, circle left. And drop it back to the earth. Take the hands, step them forward. Flip onto the tops of your feet as you draw the knees wider and then hip width apart. Bring them to the edge of the mat as we keep that orientation of top of the foot. Draw back the hips and walk the hands forward. Keep walking the hands backwards until you're in a almost upright type position. So we have a bend in both knees. We have an opportunity to kind of bring a little bit of weight, some additional lengthening to that shin muscle, and enjoy that for a couple breaths.
So you're on the top.
Still on the tops of your feet, yeah. All right. All right, come back on to the tippy, tuck the toes under, separate the feet nice and wide. And we're gonna float the bear and then bring the hips up and back to down dog. Heels drive to the earth and walk the hands back towards those feet of yours. Inhale, extend to a flat back and fold. And do this for a few more repetitions. Keep the back in extension. Reverse swan dive and salute the sun. Trying to watch with that thing. Reach tall, pull, and then relax the arms down, shoulder height. Lift the palms to face the earth. Separate fingers nice and wide. The thumbs are pointing forward. We're going to sweep the thumbs together and then roll with the baby fingers, opening back. Now we're going to add a little nuance to this. As we pull back, we're going to open the palms to face forward and rotate the palms to face earth as the thumbs connect. A little bit of rotation through the shoulder. Enjoy that experience. It shouldn't be that challenging. And now we're going to go full Monty on this. We're going to flip the thumbs all the way backwards as you pull back, and then bring the hands together, thumb to thumb. Do that for a couple more repetitions. And then slowly bring hands back over hearts, stepping feet to the edges of the mat. Let's take the toes and angle them in towards the center line of your body. Let's bring some straightness to those legs of yours. And as you draw the hips backwards, keep the chest proud. And begin to fold down and enjoy some lengthening. And then raise it back up. Important that we maintain that connection of the ball of each big toe. But if you can, bring a little more orientation of the weight bearing of your body back into the heels. In other words, just drift those hips backwards. Now, let's hold up and let's change up a little bit. I'd like you to try to take the heels and externally rotate them. So the ball of each big toe maintains its connection, but there's an effort to externally rotate, to push those heels out. It's an isometric activation. And before we descend, I'm going to ask you to engage a little more with that six-pack muscle and then begin your descent. Keep that external rotation effort through the whole range of motion, up and down. As best you can, of course. Being consistent with this effort, very helpful for this exercise. All right, now on the next arising, hold up, relax those legs, set the toes straight forward, push the hands to the sky, salute the sun. As you inhale, fill the lungs, and as you exhale, fold it all the way down and walk it out. Walk the plank, pirates. All right, now drive the heels backwards. And then pull the hips up and back to down dog. And float back again. And do that one more time. And as you come back to plank this time, lower down onto your knees and bring your forearms down onto the ground. As we begin our 8-point plank. Make sure the knees have the separation about hip width apart. Keep your toes tucked under. And if possible, you're going to try to align your elbows underneath the shoulders. Now, load bearing in these muscles is affected by the elbow positioning. So if you need to reduce some of the work because it's like too much, you bring the elbows closer to the hips. And if you feel a little bit more energized today, you can step them a little more forward. And as we hold on this for another couple breaths, I'd like you to try to imagine I'm going to shoot a cannonball into your belly and start to fire up those muscles. And if your head's falling off your body, I'd like you to draw it long and then pull it back a bit towards the sky. And then let's sit the hands back underneath the shoulders, pull up and back to child's pose. Let's float it back forward. As we lower down onto the forearms again, let the pubis come into contact. So it's like a baby cobra. Again, elbow positioning, body appropriate for you today. In this position now, I'd like you to kind of do the same thing we practiced when we were doing cat and cow. And that's that hollow out of the belly. See if you can kind of get that muscle tension, that little bit of pull. This may feel good. And the reason why it may feel good is that when we sit for long periods of time, those muscles become super contracted. They really contribute to a lot of our inward rotation issues. And this is just a nice stretch for them. So enjoy it. Proud out the chest, grow the spine longer, but keep that belly pulling up and into the spine. As you breathe, you might feel a little severity in the contraction. That's perfectly normal. Take some deep breaths in, try to continue that lengthening of the spine. On the next exhale, keep that pull up and into the spine of the belly, And then raise your hips. We're back in 8-point plank. Gonna lower back down the pubis. Apply that nice pull to those abdominals. Keep the pull and raise the hips. And then lower back down. So the hip raising, sometimes people like to bring them higher than the shoulders. That's fine if that's appropriate today. But if you can, try to keep a plane of the back parallel to the plane of the floor. So that the hips and shoulders at the same height, if you like simpler terms. So we're continuing to repetition. Kirsten's favorite word today. Rep this out. Slowly up, slowly down. A lot on the shoulders, I know. All right, so I'm gonna hold up, step the hands back, and walk it back. So we're on our knees. Good morning. I'm gonna take the top of each foot onto the floor, so we're gonna flip them under. I use a little support. You're more than welcome to do that. For me, it's a little more body appropriate to bring the knees slightly wider than hips. You make your choice. Now, I'm gonna keep that flat top foot as we take a hip push forward. You might feel a little pull over the hips, that's fine, but I want you to try to avoid any compressive force in the back. So if you've got that, back off the hips, engage that six pack, keep it engaged. As you begin to push forward, maintain that activation. And then you're gonna lean back the body, not by bending through the hips, but by bending through the knees. You're gonna shorten the angle in the knees. You're gonna feel a stronger pull through that muscle on the shin. Enjoy it. Now, you can move your feet, the heels, like move them in and out. Changes the angle of that pull on the muscle. May feel like a little bit of a massage. And then calm that. Chop through the hips, bring those hands back down onto the ground, flip up onto your toes, float the bear, and then raise it up to down dog, and walk the hands backwards. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Unfold it all and salute the sun. Good morning, everybody. Exhale, relax. Now, this next exercise, we're going to come sideways to the mat. You're gonna make sure your partner does not have their head sticking in the wrong spot.
Go forward more.
Go forward more. Okay. Now, very important, here are a few factors. I want to make sure that you have good width. We don't need to be doing the splits, but about double the width of your shoulders in our stance, if that's possible. Most importantly is we're gonna make sure we have engagement of these kinetic chains through our legs. I want you to make sure they're nice and straight. We have support through the belly, and we have our hips drifting backwards. Very important is the registration of weight bearing in the feet right now. As best you can, I want you to get the heel of feet of each foot, more weighted. And you'll know if you float forward, you can feel the toes almost gripping and grabbing and weighting at the mat. And when you drift backwards, you get the heel, but don't topple, right? Now, very important is maintaining the square of the hips. As we hinge through, you're going to feel a medial or middle leg muscle stretch. If it's possible, fingertips to the floor. And if that's not possible, you can support this position with hands on thighs. I'm going to hang on here for a couple seconds. We're working the length of the back. We're working the length of the neck. So we're not having that head just dangle off our body. We have active muscular chains. And I'd like you to check in now with your feet. And did the weight bearing kind of shift forward? That's how our body likes to pull. We like to use those muscles, but I'd like you to keep the orientation posterior. So make sure those hips remain backwards, pull backwards. Now, whether you have hands on thighs or fingertips on earth, we're going to have a separation, if you're on earth, of the hands shoulder width apart. I'd like you to take the right arm and sweep it out to the right side. Right out to the side. And then lower that back down and change it for the left. And then just alternate side with side. And again, I'm gonna ask you to check back in with your feet. I'm not asking you to look for a pedicure, I'm just making sure that the weight doesn't shift forward. And that's it. Now, bring both hands back to the earth. See if you can straighten the legs a little more and drift back just a touch more. And now take the right hand out again. Now, take the right shoulder and open it to the sky. And then sweep that right hand back down. And we're going to remain on this side. Arm sweeps, shoulder lifts, and back to earth. And do that for a few more repetitions. Very important to create the rotation without hips moving side to side. Let's return back and do the left side. Sweep and lift shoulder and rep it out. I'm sure Kirsten's happy with the choice of that word this time. On the next rep, as you return down, we're just going to alternate side to side. So right switches to left. And as we again make the movements, check in with your feet. Back, back, back. Yeah, you got to get those hips back to keep the weight back in the heels of the feet. All right, let's bring it back down. Walk your feet in so that they're about hip width apart. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Draw back the hips. Step your palms onto your shins. Bend the knees, crowd out the chest. As the hips lower, I'd like you to raise the shoulders higher than the hips. So there's an angle through the spinal column. Hips are the low point, of course. Now, keep the hips down, but open the shoulders. So you open the angle through the hips more. Palms come onto the shins. Let's bring the hands forward, rotate the palms to face. So we're in a deep squat. I'm going to try to deepen a little bit, keep those arms reaching out, and then stand tall. Some really. Hands sweep to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, fold it back down. When you fold, inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, lower the hips, step the palms, push the palms into the shin this time. Now, if your elbows rotate internally, I want you to rotate externally, kind of like a ski jumper type position. Butt gets lower, shoulders get higher. Butt remains as the shoulders raise, palms to the kneecaps. Reach forward. Lower down through the hips. Raise up through the arms. Slowly stand and salute the sun. Inhale, pull to the sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend. Fold. Extend and hold. Make sure you're drifting back into those heels again. Hips pull back, palms to shins. Butt lowers from the knee bend. Elbows rotate externally as the palms push, crowd out the chest. Hips remain in position as shoulders raise. Hands sweep forward, palms turn to face. Hips lower, hips raise and lower. Pulse this for a few pulses. Enjoy this progression. Hold the hips down, raise the arms, stand it tall, and salute the sun. You gave up on that one? No. All right. Hold it down and have a seat. Oh, water. Gotta grab some water. Excuse me. Cheers, everybody. How do you say that? Awkward. Okay. All right. What have you done here? Nap time for Kirsten. All right, come all the way down.
34 years would be all I needed now.
You exhausted me. Now, as you step your feet in towards your butt, bring them out to the sides of the mat. Rock the pelvis. And I'm not talking about any particular song. I'm just talking about rocking the pelvis. So I want you to rock so you've got the flat part of the low back on the mat. Nice skin touch. As you hold that, I like to pull your belly up an inch right down towards the spinal column. And then I like bring your hands onto your chest. Now, I like you to make sure the back of the arms are on the floor. And I like you to kind of step them up so that the elbows may have the same height or position of the shoulders. And if they don't, that's fine. You just find your best version of this. We're going to bring the thighs together. I like to try to keep the feet flat to the earth, but the ball of each big toe having a pronounced position on your mat. Now, if you've experienced a little bit of pelvic unraveling, which means that the low back skin kind of pulled up off the mat, I'd like you to engage your tummy. See if you can kind of rock that pelvic girdle back. The intensity of that touch may not be the same as before we cross or touch the legs, but just have a little touch as best you can. So just hold on this. Begin to squeeze the thighs a little more. If you get some trembling going on, that's fine. Even if it doesn't show up, I want you to check in with your feet. Make sure the outsides aren't lifting up. And enjoy this activation we've created. Those muscles pushing hard into each other. These muscles typically lose their strength when we sit for long periods of time. So this is just an exercise to kind of make them more active and help with tracking our legs when we walk and sit and do other fun things. All right, release that. Step the legs out. Now, with the feet roughly a little wider, or the heels not even, a little wider than hip width apart, I'd like you to step them in just a little bit to create a micro bend at the knee. As we bring flexion to the feet, let's bring rotation to the thighs again. So we turn them into each other. Toes may or may not touch. If they do, fine. If they don't, that's fine also. As you squeeze the legs together, I'd like you to maintain that internal activation. Let the arms drop beside the body as you flatten out the shoulder blades. Cup the fingers and bring your fingertips to the earth. Proud the chest and keep it proud. And push the fingertips into the earth. And push into the heels and see if you can create any lift of that butt of yours. And if you notice a kind of boom moment where muscles just like fired up and started working, hold that sensation. Hold it and breathe. And then relax and step the feet all the way out to point the toes this time and sweep your hands up and above the head. Fingers pull along the upper body, as does the toes for the lower body. Breathe it out for a couple more breaths. And as you relax that last breath, bring the hands back over the chest, walk the elbows up shoulder heights, and step your heels in just enough for a micro bend in the knees. Now, rock the pelvic girdle. See if you can kind of get that low back skin sensation touching your mat. And we're going to hold that this time. So a little bit of a progression. Now,
Mine doesn't touch.
mine doesn't touch, it's fine. It may not, but that's more important to kind of create that energy or activation. And if it's there, great. And if it's not, don't worry about it. Feet flex, thighs turn into touch. A lot of together time for those thighs today. They're becoming the best friends, I can just tell. Now squeeze them together. Get them really close. It's like a big hug. You're going to hug it out. And as you keep that, Relax the arms now beside the body as we transition, fingers cup and shoulder blades flatten to the earth. So you maintain that hollowed out belly activation, roll your head from side to side. See if you can get more rotation without forcing, just enjoy a nice stretch. Now, calm the head, push the fingertips into the earth, pull the toes closer to the shins. Squeeze those thighs even more, squeeze them. And now as you begin to push fingertips, see if you can drive to the heels to create activation and elevation. Hold for a couple breaths. Try to push a little more this time. Give a little more. Lower down, extend it out, both directions. Inhale, fill the lungs, and breathe for a couple more breaths and enjoy it. On your next exhale, pull the knees up and into the chest. And embrace those kneecaps with your hands and pull them into the body. Rock it forward and back. Let's bring our forehead up into the equation and bring it towards the knees and kind of curve out the spine and rock and roll on the back for a little bit and then roll it all the way up to oh, nice to see you again in position. All right, we're going to bring the feet wider than the hips, or wider than the mat. I'm going to bring some flexion to that foot of ours on each one, both of you guys. Now, hand is sitting. That's when you kind of roll down onto your tailbone and let everything just kind of fall inwards. We're going to try to reverse that by rolling up onto the hip. So we practice that specifically for our sitting posture and rocking that pelvic girdle, using those muscles, getting familiar with them, making her smile of all what I'm about today. Very important. I'm going to take my left hand, step it inside the midline, or middle of the legs, and the right hand, and I'm going to start the fingers blocking with a long spine. So we could flex this out and get lower. I like it to keep longer through the spine and rotate or reduce the angle through the hips. Now I'm going to take my left hand to my right foot. I'm going to wrap the toes. And I'm going to begin to pull with the left hand the top of the foot and feel that nice stretch to the back gastroc or calf muscle region, up maybe into the knees. You kind of feel that. And then I'm going to push with the right foot and feel a nice lengthening through the side left body. As it tries to resist the lengthening, you get a nice PNF stretch along that side body. Enjoy it. And then relax everything. Walk it back in. Same thing, opposite side. Walk it out. Long spine. Enjoy the descent. Stay for a couple breaths. When you're ready, right hand to left foot. Pull the foot. Enjoy. Oh. Sometimes this feels really intense, and you can back off the intensity a little, but once you accept or acclimate, get the right temperature in those muscles, you can kind of intensify a little bit just to get a little more from the stretch. To inhale, release, walk it back and together. Just bring those feet in and then bring hands to kneecaps for a little bit of an embrace. Flex the feet, keep that pelvic girdle from panda position. Roll up onto the sit bones, proud chest. All right, let's release the hands and hold. And now a little bit of strengthening for our flexors, hip flexors. Pilates style. Imprint, vertebrae by vertebrae, slowly lower down. And then sweep the arms backwards. Let the thumbs touch the earth and then sweep the arms forward. As we arise, I'd like you to drop the chin in towards the chest. And much the same way we lower, raise up, imprint vertebrae by vertebrae. Keep the flexion in the spine, guide the arms. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, chin to chest. Lower it back down. Arms sweep back. We're going to do one more rep like this, and then we're going to progress. Chin to chest. Peel it up slowly. Dive it down. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Chin to chest. Lower. Legs step out. Point the toes and pull. Pull with the fingers. Make that body long as you fill your lungs. As you exhale, chin to chest, arms sweep up. Slowly peel it up. Oh, yeah. Dive it down. Keep the flexion in the spine. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Flex the feet. Wrap the hands on top if you can have access to that towel. Towel is another option if you have it handy. Pull those feet, the toes in particular, towards the shins. Keep the spine extending. See if you can grow it a little more. Relax, chin to chest. Flex the spine. Imprint all the way down. Sweep the arms up and back. And point the toes. Flex the feet. Drop the chin. As we come up this time, we're going to move on. Oh, yeah. Keep the flexion. Dive the hands. Inhale, extend. Flex the feet. Wrap the toes. Pull, pull, pull as you proud the chest. As you release your next breath, put a 90-degree bend in that left leg of yours and scoot it over to the left side of the mat. Take the right leg and sweep it backwards. So we did this yesterday. Yeah, we did. And I hope you joined us. We're going to do some more today. As we lower down onto the forearm, we're going to bring our upper body slightly forward. I'm going to take that right hand and much the same way that the line of the upper leg orients, we're going to walk the hands in that same direction forward. As we keep that length in the upper body, I'd like you to take the right knee and use your right foot as a hinge point and lift the knee and lower and lift and lower and continue. Let that knee relax. Walk that hand back in. Post that left hand and let's walk this 90-90. Flip the right side. Roll, roll, roll all the way across. And get down to that 90 on the opposite side. And then roll it back. Kirsten, we're going to change sides and do it over there. Just relax. She's remarkably ahead of her time. Lower. And let's do one more repetition. And when we come back this time, let's change up sides. Right. Same setup, opposite side. Diagonal forearm. Orient the hand, walk it out, and lower down the upper body. So our piriformis is a small muscle that often gets abused when we sit for long periods of time. And you might feel a certain spot in your hip getting a little bit of fire. Well, that's that muscle, and we're just getting a nice little stretch. For me, on my right side, it's like really, I feel it. Hopefully, it's helpful for you.
I feel it on both sides.
I feel it on both sides.
This side more.
Yeah. Now begin the elevation, left up, left knee up and down. Slowly up and down, enjoy. The piriformis is one of the muscles that's used in external rotation of the leg. And oh my goodness, is it ever burning? Lower it, walk that hand back in.
And now we're just gonna vascularize all of those muscles by walking it front to back. Up. When those muscles get torn up over years of abuse, it takes a long time to kind of get them back to a healthy state. Which is why doing this exercise repeatedly is not a bad thing.
Do one more rep in each direction.
And when you are ready, lift those feet all the way forward. I'm gonna grab some more water just because I like drinking. All right, so let's do some stretching by coming all the way down onto our backside. We're gonna bring our right leg over our left. We have our feet starting position close to the hips. I'd like you to take your left foot and bring it in line with the hips. If you drew a line from top to bottom of your body, the foot and the hip on the left side would be in the same line with the leg, right leg crossed over. Now, pelvic rocking, how they get try to rock back. So you can actually use a little bit of help here. You can move your foot closer to your hip to allow that rock of the pelvic girdle. Again, it's just that low back skin sensation. Best you can get at it. It may not happen in totality, but just give me your best version. And while you keep that little activation, because there's a little bit of tummy muscle that helps you get there. While you keep that, I'd like you to take your right leg and use it to guide the left. Now, try to use the left to resist a little on this version of what we're doing. And try not to make the destination the floor. Try to just float it a little bit. And then once you kind of got a spot where you feel a nice pull over that left hip of yours, take the left arm and shoot it up to the sky. Open the palm widely, aim the thumb towards the ground and just reach backwards, directly backwards. If you can get your thumb on the earth, great. If not, that is a goal. That one we want to try to get to. And while you work to keep that, I'd like to take your left shoulder and rotate it towards the earth. And see if you can reach those fingers of that left hand a little more backwards. Oh, a little bit of trembling is good. Enjoy this journey. Now sweep the arm like a clock arm downward, all the way across the hips, all the way across the body, and all the way back up. And then bring it back down beside the hip and reset for the opposite side. Right foot, right hip, left over right, and start it up. Resist as you rotate. Right arm reaches to the sky, fingers separate widely as the arm sweeps back. Right shoulder rotates in towards the earth. Breathe and enjoy. Pull those fingers to make the arm reach farther. Sweep the arm. Dial it, really.
When it comes back, bring it back to beside your body and release the stretch. Pull the pull the feet together. Sorry, together, the base of the feet, the bottom of the feet, sorry. I can remember my verbiage. I know, and we're gonna create a little bit of a boat with the feet connected. Knees may be high, that's fine. Your version may be different than mine. I like to try to allow the legs to drift to the earth. Just take your time with this. Now, post bottoms of the feet to the earth, bring the thighs together. Squeeze them together and just hold for a couple of seconds. Relax the squeeze. Reach down, embrace those kneecaps with your palms. Pull the knees up and into the chest and just rock slowly forward and back. Just feel a little bit of release for that low back. You can rotate the knees, you can add a little bit of nuance to your body. Forward, backward, in and out, whatever just feels good. Just feel good right now. And then open widely, wider than shoulder width, and calm any movement. And we're going to be in pull, palms to shins, pull the thighs closer to the chest. And just hold on this for a couple seconds. And then bring the legs together, forehead up to meet knees, rock and roll front to back. As we come into a seated position, cross your legs any style you want. Bring your hands over hearts, make your upper body long, and hey, let's try a little smile. Thanks for joining us today. Namaste.
Namaste. Lovely. Okay. Sunday fun day is over.
That was a great stretch.